Hello everybody, you've reached Raven at Raintree Spirit. Today's topic is going to be about your relationships. And by relationships, I'm talking about romantic, friendship, family, etc. There's not often a lot you can do about work relationships, although you can allocate your time according to how valuable that relationship is. But this is about your voluntary relationships, and are they helping or hurting your spiritual progress? So oftentimes we meet people at a certain point in our lives, and that relationship is appropriate for our stage of development at that time. But hopefully as we are progressing spiritually, emotionally, even financially, maturing on every level, sometimes the relationships that we formed years ago are actually no longer nurturing or helpful, and sometimes they can even become toxic if we've changed a lot, especially, or if they've changed a lot. So it's really good to occasionally ask yourself the question, what am I becoming because of this relationship? Now, I originally heard this quote from a Les Brown talk. Les Brown is a motivational speaker, and he says a lot of amazing things, but that particular quote really got to me because it's really important to take inventory. And I've noticed that as I've taken my associations of all kinds more seriously, that it has really sort of put the gas on the pedal to my own growth and development. So as you're asking yourself this question, what am I becoming because of this relationship? And take each relationship as an individual, even though who we are, obviously affects who we attract. But take each person individually and ask yourself that. So if you think of a relationship, so first start with your closest relationships. So maybe that's a spouse, or maybe it's a best friend, and really go within and ask yourself, what am I becoming because of this relationship? Now, often it's a mixed bag, because even if you know that this relationship is dysfunctional, there often are positive things that you are becoming, especially if you are consciously on a spiritual path. Then you're taking everything that comes at you and you're using it to grow. So let's say you're in a dating relationship and it's toxic. Okay, so what am I becoming because of this relationship? So maybe you're becoming more self-reliant because this person doesn't help you. Maybe you are becoming more friendly with other people because you're desperate for the kind of interaction that you're not getting in your primary relationship. But aside from that, be really honest. Maybe you're going further into debt because maybe the person is a gold digger or high maintenance, or maybe you're trying to keep up with something that you really can't keep up with anymore, or maybe your priorities have shifted. So if you're going into further debt, if you're becoming more and more stressed out, if you're feeling drained after you leave these people, or on the flip side, if you're becoming stronger as a person, but in spite of that relationship and not because of it, then you really need to do some introspection. So the first thing to do always is to work on yourself. This is not about blaming anyone else. You're responsible for your own growth and development. It's not anyone else's responsibility to help you grow. It is your responsibility to put yourself in the kind of environment where you can grow. You have to plant yourself in the proper soil. That's not someone else's job. So if you're sticking around in relationships that are no longer valuable, first thing you need to do is ask yourself why. Are you afraid? Are you afraid of being alone? Are you afraid that if you let this person go, you'll never have another friend or never have another relationship in your life? And even if that's true, have you bought into the idea that it's better to have anyone than no one? And if you have, you really have to ask yourself why. Question your fundamental beliefs. Because oftentimes, if you really shine the light on them, they're not only wrong, but they're self-destructive. So really ask yourself, why am I still in this relationship? Am I afraid of the person? And that's legitimate. If you're with an abusive partner, maybe you're just still in the relationship out of fear. And then if you're honest with yourself, then is that a reason to stay long term with somebody? Is fear. Oftentimes, and obviously if you are afraid of the person, then you need to take the steps to protect yourself and to get out of the relationship. But usually the fear is not physical. Usually we have limiting beliefs. We think that if we let go of the toxic people in our lives, there will be no one. And there may be no one for a while. If you've sort of gone along on autopilot and just sort of collected people while you've been growing spiritually, you may just have a lot of people around you that you don't actually have anything in common with anymore. And so there may be a period of alone time. And so that is not something to fear. Every person who has developed spiritually, even our great gurus like, Jesus and Gandhi, they had periods of alone time. Obviously they were surrounded by people as well, but not at first. There's always times where all the gurus you can think of, everyone who has manifested something powerful on this planet has had to have times of aloneness. They've had to have times of introspection. They've had to distance themselves from people that were causing them more harm than good. So you're no different. If you really do want to grow spiritually, then you're going to have to take the responsibility to plant yourself in the proper soil that will help you grow. And so that is not something to be afraid of. And obviously, if you are feeling that fear, it's not something to shun or to pretend like it's not there. Go ahead and admit that you are feeling afraid, but take that into your meditation and think on that. And as you focus on something like that, often it loses its power, because the stuff that we try to avoid thinking about, that's the stuff that will trip us up. When we really shine the light on the stuff that's holding us back, it often disintegrates right before our eyes. And as you acknowledge that you are afraid, however, you're dedicated to doing the right thing, you're dedicated to becoming more and more your true self, then the universe will meet you more than halfway and will help you. And you'll find that as you continually acknowledge your fear but keep moving forward, acknowledge your fear but keep moving forward, acknowledge your fear but keep moving forward, you'll find that the fear becomes less and less of a factor. And not only that, but you're not going to be alone. You will be attracting people that are more a match for who you are now, not who you were 10, 15, 20 years ago, or even who you were last year. You're going to be attracting people that are compatible to your current way of life and your aspirations. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be mean to the people that you need to let go or be nasty, unless they're abusive. If they're physically abusing you or emotionally abusing you, then you cut them off, snip, snip. But if it's somebody who you just are not compatible with anymore, there's no need to be rude or nasty. Just start prioritizing you. Okay? This is your life, and no one is responsible for it but you. So as you're doing the things that matter to you, even if you have to do them alone at first, naturally the things that no longer serve you will fall away, and you won't really have to do anything. Now, if someone presses you, it's good to just be honest. Like, look, I just need to spend more time on this, that, and the other. And invite them to join you. They probably won't, but they might. So, and then maybe you can keep that friendship. But the focus is not on hanging on or clinging on to other people. The focus is on your personal progress and your spiritual path. And that is something that you are on by yourself ultimately. Even if you have 100 spiritually minded, wonderful friends around you, your spiritual path is still your own. So don't be afraid. Set those boundaries with the people you need to set them with. I don't care if it's your family. I don't care if it's your best friend. I don't care if it's your spouse. Your priority is your own spiritual growth. So if you're married to somebody that you are no longer compatible with, obviously that's a trickier issue, but you still need to prioritize your spiritual path. It doesn't mean you run out and get a divorce, okay? What it means is you make it clear to them that you love and adore them, and you're not planning on going anywhere. Like, I don't believe in just running out on people if you've made that commitment of marriage. However, you need to prioritize your own spiritual growth, or otherwise you are no good to that person anyway. So invite them along with you, and if they don't go, just continue doing it yourself. Now, they may decide that this is no longer what they want, and if they decide to leave you, then, that's on you to let that go and to let it be what it is. But continue to love and honor that person if it's your spouse and they're not abusive, okay, if they're a normal person, but they're just really not compatible with you. Just start spending more time on the things that you're excited about. Come home and share those things with them. If they love you, they will be excited that you're excited, even if it's not something that they would choose. And then that relationship can evolve into no longer being toxic, but to maybe just being not a compromise, but a new balance. Okay, you're finding a new level in your relationship. Now, this is only if you're married. If you're dating somebody, you are not committed and you need to do what you need to do, okay? But don't be afraid of what's on the other side, because what's on the other side is miraculous. You're a powerful, powerful being. Okay, you are spirit incarnate. You're a spirit in human form, okay? But as a human, we are very subject to our environment. So it's up to you to create the environment that you need to be in to flourish, okay? So, and once you remove that toxicity and negativity from your life, you will be amazed at the kind of progress you can make. Sometimes we're not even aware how other people's words and negativity and pessimism can really affect our aura, affect our peace of mind, affect what we choose to do and not do. Once you cut that stuff off, you will be surprised. It's like cutting an anchor off of a balloon, a helium balloon. It just soars into the air. So that can be your experience, but be brave, have some courage, allow the universe to meet you more than halfway, and you won't be sorry. You're here to soar. You matter. You are a very important piece of the puzzle of this planet. So do your part, be your highest and best self, and you will not be sorry. Peace and love.